This is over a 15 years old laptop, in a work condition and with a very low specs. Hey, what's up everyone, I'm Andrew, and in this video we're gonna restore, make some upgrades and back in function this old laptop. Well, this is an old Gericom laptop from a mid-2000s and with the specs far from good. This laptop has Intel Celeron CPU running at 1.5 GHz. The RAM is 256 MB and the hard disk is 80 gigs. For many, this is forgotten and useless technology that belongs in the past only. I got this laptop for a free. Actually, my neighbor wanted to drop this laptop in a trash, but instead he brings to me. Well, I got this laptop and I've decided to back in a function again. Basically, this laptop is functional, except a few things. I got it without functional Wi-Fi, without charger, and most of the drivers are missing. To find some parts or drivers for some old hardware, it's pretty hard nowadays. Most of the official websites have no support, or even some are not existing anymore. But however, it is not impossible. I spent some time and I found everything that I need. Well, let's start, and first I will start with full teardown. Now I will separate all parts because of detail cleaning, because of some upgrades and some modifications. Well, and basically this is it. The teardown took longer than I expected. This model actually has more parts than usual, especially the parts on the display are well sticked with a two-sided tape, so I had to work slowly and carefully to not damage some part. Now, first I will start with cleaning the motherboard, the cooling fan and the heatsink. Also, how I can see, this is the first cleaning. Actually, this laptop has never opened and cleaned before. Well, now all is done, and this is how the motherboard, the cooling fan and the heatsink are looking. Now, after I finish with these basic components, I will continue with cleaning the display. First, I start with removing the two-sided tape from the bezel, because the tape is very nasty and the tape has collected a lot of dirt and dust through the past years. Now, to clean the display, I will use a 96% alcohol, as usual, anti-static glass cleaner, cotton buds, few soft cleaning cloths and soft brush. And as always, I must say a few things. If you're going to clean some display, you need to be very careful. Do not press the display heavy, because you may break it, and do not let any kind of liquid to passes over the display edges and enter to the inside, because that may damage the entire display also. After I finish with the display, I continue with cleaning the laptop case, the other electronics and the cables from dust and dirt. I pay attention to any single detail, because I really like when everything is looking good. The plastic parts of the case that are without electronics, I wash it using soap and water. I did this because this is the only way to clean the parts perfectly, but also I did that because of the next modification. After I finished with the detail cleaning, first I had to make a few repairs. The display hinges are good, but the small bolts under the hinges are broken. Actually, the plastic that is holding the small bolts is broken. The problem is, without the screws and bolts, the display is very loosey and is not very stable. Also, to stick the small bolts, I use a very quality super glue. Well, now the laptop case is good without some other significant damages. Because the case has a classic design, but with a lot of scratches, I've decided to make some changes here and give a fresh and unique look. I'm gonna be short here, because this process takes a lot of time, but this is what I've done. First, using a white spray, I paint all parts. Actually, this is a base painting. Then I used a 1000 grit water sandpaper. I sand all parts and I make it almost perfectly smooth. Then, most of the parts I painted in orange, using an orange spray. Except the plastic around the speakers, I left it white, and the bezel around the display, I made it matte black. Actually, I have a lot of ideas, but I choose this combination because I never saw some older orange laptop or laptop with this color combination. So I wanna see how it will look, and basically this was an experiment. Well, now after I finish with painting the case, before I start with assembling, first I will do some upgrades. And the first upgrade is the CPU. Instead of 1.5 GHz Intel Celeron, I will use a 1.73 GHz Intel Pentium CPU. This Intel Pentium CPU is a little bit faster, with a faster bus speed and more than double cache memory. Actually, this will increase the performance about 30%. Also, this laptop is very limited about a CPU support. This is a 479 socket Type-C, which supports only a single-core processors. Dual-core processors, unfortunately, are not supported with this model. The next upgrade is the RAM. Instead of using a 256 MB, I will go with 1 GB of RAM. Also, 1 GB of RAM is the maximum what this laptop supports. Well, and basically these are all upgrades. Now it's time to fully assemble the laptop. Well, we're almost done. But before I place the last screws, I install a working Wi-Fi. Nowadays, it's pretty hard to find some compatible Wi-Fi, but fortunately, I have few from these old Wi-Fi cards, including one Gericom Wi-Fi that is fully compatible. And one more thing, one of the key from the keyboard is missing. I've tried to find some key, but all that I have is not even close to fit. So to cover the missing key, I will stick a sponge. The sponge is not really great idea, but will cover the missing key and the laptop will look a little bit better. Well, after the laptop is complete, I move on installing the drivers. Some drivers are already installed and only had to install the GPU and the Wi-Fi drivers. It's pretty hard to find some old drivers, but it's not impossible. And finally, the laptop is fully functional, and this is the final look. Well, now let's move to the performance. Windows XP is an old operating system, but still not bad at all. The laptop is working pretty good. The Windows XP is totally stable and it's working pretty fast. The basic things are still working and still usable. Web browsing is possible but not fully functional. Unfortunately, not all pages are supported, and the web browsing is going slow. Now let's move to the gaming performance. In the gaming area, I cannot expect to run some new games, but some older iconic games are working perfectly on this machine. Also, the experience is totally great. A classic laptop with a square-shaped display is perfect for some older games. Well, the first game on the list is Half-Life. The Half-Life is 2 decades old, but for me is one of the most epic games ever made. The story is incredibly long and with a lot of challenges. The Half-Life on this computer is running perfectly smooth and without any problems or crashing. The second game on the list is CS 1.6. Also, this is another older game that was very popular in the Windows XP era. The CS also is going pretty good, without any problem, and the frame rate is over 30, and sometimes even more. The third game on the list is Quake 3 Arena. This is a 2-decade-old game, and for me is one of the best first-person shooter run-and-gun games. Playing the Quake on this laptop is a special experience, and definitely is not the same experience as playing on a new PC. Quake 3 on this machine is working pretty fast, with a stable frame rate and without any problems. The next game on the list is Delta Force. This game is a 2-decade-old, but also is a game who started the evolution of the first-person war games and simulations. At first, maybe it looks like this game is easy to play, but actually this is a very difficult game to play. Requires a lot of tactical playing, and even a small mistake can end the mission. Well, the next game on the list is the iconic Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. This game is from the early 90s, but simply I cannot skip it when we talk about some older hardware. And personally for me, this is one of the best beat-em-up arcade games. And the last game on the list is the Metal Slug 2. The Metal Slug is an arcade game from the 90s also, and this is one of the first run-and-gun games. Even after so many years, the Metal Slug is still a great game and very addictive to play. Well, and basically this is all about this laptop. This is a pretty old laptop, but I think it's still not for a trash. The basic things are still usable. The Windows XP is an outdated operating system, but is not bad at all. And looking from a gaming perspective, this is a great time machine. This laptop is totally great to play some older but great games. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I hope this video will give you ideas and inspiration to back some tech in function again. Also, if you want to support me to grow this channel, you can press the subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.